Good morning, welcome back to Shop Talk and Street Fame. Today is Monday. We are starting week 7 of our project of the S10, which is a $10,000 truck built under 2 months to compete at the Cleet Outlaws top 10 list, which is a 9-second top 10 list. So what are we doing today? Well, I just got here to the storage unit, and what I wanted to do was test a theory out. Now, I've been having problems. The car turns on. Everything's good in that end, but it doesn't turn off. Now, what I'm assuming was it wasn't turning off because I had my laptop plugged into the Rebel ECU, and the Rebel ECU is so nice that if you have your laptop plugged into the unit directly from the laptop without being Bluetooth, but just directly connected with a cable, it powers up the unit. So, what does that mean? That means that even if I cut all electricity out of it, the truck is still going to keep on running until it runs out of fuel, because the pumps might be off, but the ignition and everything is still running. So, what I'm going to test out right now is to see if that theory is correct. I'm going to turn on the truck, let it idle for a minute, and then see if I switch down my ignition switch, if it turns off. Let's find out. Alright, so power is on back here. Let's turn on our switches, try to get it started, and see if it turns off. Me turning off the ignition switch and car still running. So I have a little issue there, but we'll get that figured out. At least it turns on and it idles. Took a little bit, but I got it done. Oh yeah! Baby. Boy, finally, I feel so much better nowadays. I've been chasing this issue with the S10, where this bank of cylinders, all 4 cylinders, were not firing. So my first startup actually was under 4 cylinders, just on that bank. And I noticed that because when I was just checking the plugs, because I wanted to see a reading on it, see how they were burning and all that, I noticed that the headers were cold after running it for about 20 minutes. So that made me told myself that well, that is not firing. I checked everything. I mean, I was going down the list of what it could be. I started with the spark plugs. Then I went to the coils. Then I went to the injectors. Then I went over to the wiring harness, and then came out to be that all 4 of these injectors on this side were clogged badly, meaning not a single drop of fuel was coming through them. So what I had to do was actually get myself one of these little things, FIC's 1200cc injectors. So I went ahead and replaced those last night, and oh boy, does she sound good on all 8 cylinders, and that cam is camming. It's camming really good. Oh yeah! So what I'm going to do right now is actually change the settings on the Haltech, get them over, let the Haltech know that now I have, instead of 800cc injectors, now I have 1200cc's, and I'm going to tell it that they are FICCC injectors, and then get another first startup. But first I'm going to save the tune that's on it, because last night, as soon as I replaced them, it's fired right up. So I don't want to make any mistakes with, well, not make any mistakes. I don't want to lose that tune, so I'm going to save that tune just in case. You never know. And then change the settings on it for 1200cc injectors. I'm going to start up again. You're going to listen to the difference between running on 4 cylinders and running on all 8. Here it is. So I am getting ready to leave. We have the car's idling great. Still some little tweaks here and there that we got to do for it to be ready for the drive. Aside from the biggest thing is transmission. Now, our transmission, we actually got our new converter from ATF. Shout outs to ATF that hooked us up with a 3800 stock converter, brand new. It's a 9-inch converter. So we are ready to go ahead and actually drop in the transmission. Now I am waiting to see who's gonna help me out drop it in, because I don't want to do it by myself. Even though it's possible, I want to make sure that I have a second pair of hands to help me, because you know it can get a little tricky. And aside from that, I think we're gonna be having our first test drive hopefully early next week. We should be able to have our first test drive. Actually, the car is already registered. I got a nice little blue antique plate, which is very nice. It's right here. So yeah, we are almost ready for our first test drive. As soon as I get the transmission in, I'm gonna have a tuner. I'm gonna figure out who's gonna tune the car. I already have a couple people in mind. I'm gonna see who's willing to help me out. Whether it is a sponsor deal, whether it is, you know, a low budget kind of thing, I'll figure that part out. But we are on the home stretch. We're in the home stretch for starting to test. We're in the home stretch to get everything buttoned down to actually be able to go out on the street and make a couple licks. So with that being said, stay tuned. I'm going to try to get this transmission in hopefully this week. I'd say if not today, maybe tomorrow. If not, most likely Sunday. But I'll figure that part out. Until then, I'll keep you guys updated. Alrighty guys, so I've been trying to put the transmission up by myself. It's been more than a challenge. It's not on yet because I believe I still got to push the engine back about a 1/4 inch or so. In order for the bolts to grab. And to be honest with you, I'm a little bit of nervous when I wiggle the transmission on the jack stand. It's because you know, I'm afraid of it falling. So I'm gonna stop with the transmission until I get, you know, a pair of hands to help me, and hopefully get it done sooner rather than later. I do want to have that first test drive. I didn't say this week because being realistic, I kind of had a little doubts if I was going to be able to do it myself, because I've known about this little issue with the engine having to move back about a 1/4 inch, just because of the mounts. The mounts are they're adjustable, and the guy had it pushed back a little bit more, and it's just, you know, we're dealing with that. But aside from the transmission, I mean, I've been trying it for the last 3.5 hours or so. I was able to take a break from the transmission and finish the brakes. Went ahead and finished up the brakes for the S10. All the lines are ran, so we got braided lines. We got new pads, new calipers, new rotors, new bearings, essentially new everything in here. So we will be able to stop as we should. Brakes are done on both sides. Fluids in the reservoir. I just gotta bleed the brakes, and then after bleeding the brakes, I should be good. We should have brakes again. Mind you, I dropped this car off. I pushed it out of the trailer without brakes. That was a little sketchy, and I did it by myself. So again, don't do that, guys. I don't recommend it. It was a little sketchy, but thankfully there's a big slant right here at the beginning of the bay for the storage. So it kind of stopped before it hit anything. Aside from that, I think I'm gonna call it a day for today. I've been on it the whole day, doing little things here and there. I cleaned up the wiring, engine bay. Everything is looking a little bit better. We did ended up getting new FIC injectors, like I said earlier. What's it called? The old injectors that I had, they were fouled on this side of the engine, so that's why I was only firing one side, one bank. I was only firing this bank, not this one. So these headers were cold. That's what threw me off for a loop for a while. But now everything's working. Everything is working on the engine bay. We, like I said, we should be doing our first drive next week. Next week we have to do our first drive because not just the simple fact that I want to do my first drive, but July 10th is coming up very fast, and I haven't been able to test this thing. I haven't been able to drive it, so I need to button down this transmission and get a tuner ready and get it tuned so I can head out to the track and do some test passes. But as of that, that's all I'm doing today. As soon as I work on the truck again, I'll give you guys an update.